Hello, viewers. You're welcome to an interesting edition of today's real estate talk show. And then today we'll be talking on securing a child's future through real estate. I am your host and also a real estate consultant. My name is Dixon Shania Item. As you all know, real estate is one of the most sustainable investments a parent can hand over to his child. It's also a foundation he can use to train up a child, just like the Bible says, train up a child in the way he should go. But that's not the side we're looking at. We're talking about building a child's generational wealth through real estate. It's a means whereby it can be used to pave way for a child's generational wealth stability. And how are we going to deal on this topic? But guess what? I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have someone here with me in the studio, and we're going to be dealing on this topic very well, and we're going to end up giving justice to parents out there so they will be able to secure their future, their children's future rather. And what's the end product of all this is because you don't want to the child to end up in the street. So I'll be having the session with someone here with me. He runs an NGO and is going to introduce himself. So mister, you can have the floor by introducing yourself to our viewers.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's a privilege to be part of this talk show.
You're welcome.
Yeah, my name is Jerry Dominic.
Okay, Mr.
I'm
Jerry
the
Dominic.
founder of Blaze TV 106,
Okay.
and also the initiator of an NGO, Stand by Child in Fight for His or Her Rights.
Okay, your NGO is a stand by a child and fight for his or her rights.
Yeah.
Okay,
Exactly.
before I called you to have this interview with you, I've been seeing your social media handles, I've been seeing your post, your content, how you go into the streets to ask them questions, how they ended up in the streets, and I was really, really enthralled by your handwork. That's why I took it upon myself to invite you into our today's talk show. So we'll be talking about how to secure a child's future through real estate. The aim of this is how to prevent the child from not ending up in the street. Like I said, is into real estate. Sorry, is into an NGO that is responsible in taking a child away from the street. And we are going to be looking at using real estate as a means of preventing a child from entering the street. So, Mr. Jerry Dominic, as someone that runs an NGO that deals with a child, so how far have you been going about your NGO, considering the fact that you focus more on the child in the streets? So, can you tell my viewers
Okay.
how far you've been going
Yeah.
in this year?
First, I want to say this to our viewers. Uh, I I grew up on the street.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm a product of the street.
Okay.
So I know what it is to be on the street.
I guess that's where your passion came from.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I've been there.
It's
Okay.
true.
It's like a system that you've gone through.
Yes.
You know what it takes to be on the system, and you also know
Exactly.
what it takes to come out of the system.
When you
Okay.
feel the pain of a thing, you're able to profound solutions
Yes,
to it.
because
Yeah.
it's like a system that you have passed through.
Okay.
So you know what it takes to get there, and
I
you know what
understand.
it takes to actually come out from it.
Right.
So that is the reason why I actually take time to initiate this NGO, Stand by Child and Fight for Her Right. Okay. And now we are linking it to real estate.
Exactly.
Okay. How you can
but-
actually secure a future of a
Exactly.
child
Exactly.
through real estate.
Yeah.
And that's the most wonderful thing about this talk show.
Exactly.
And,
But before we get into the real estate part, I want to know, like, for your work, what you've been doing so far. I
Okay.
believe you might have gotten so many results out there,
Yes.
pulling up the child from the street. So when you pull them out from the street, what are those necessary things you need to keep them doing so that they will not fall back to the street?
Okay.
Because it's one thing to pull them away from the street, it's another
Okay.
thing for you to be able to sustain them, making them not to go back into the streets. So can you tell our viewers out there?
We have different types of children running away from home. And some of the children who parents can were not able to adequately cater for the family, number one. Then we have children not because their parents could not able to cater for them, but simply because maybe one or two reasons they ran away from home. So now identifying the smart ones among them first, helping them to acquire is key. Number one. Then number two, securing the future. We are trying to look at parents who probably, because of one thing or the other, at the very early stage, those parents were doing well.
I think this is where real estate comes in. That's why I said securing a child's future through real estate.
Most of those parents were actually doing well at the early stage.
So now the question now is, during this period they were doing well, what did they do with their money?
That was the problem. That is what we are trying to deal with. And that is why we are saying, you know, an average African and parents or African people, instead of putting more energy in trying to build a strong children, we are wasting our resources in repairing broken men,
broken homes.
Now it is easier to build strong, so that is the reason why I actually take time to initiate this NGO, Stand by a Child and Fight for Her Right. And now we are linking it to real estate. How you can actually secure a future of a child through real estate. And that's the most wonderful thing about this talk show.
So when you want to secure a child's future using real estate through the means of real estate, now it's another way indirectly countering preventing poverty into the family. So now, using real estate, what do you have to say as a parent using real estate to secure a child's future from not ending up in the streets?
First, let's look at different types of children running away from home. There are children who run away from home as a result of parents' inability to adequately cater for the family. There are children who run away from home as a result of domestic.
This is Boeing Mega City right here in the heart of Port Harcourt. It is the biggest standalone estate in all of South and the Southeast region. Behind me is the master plan of the Boeing Mega City. As you can see, there is a golf course, there is an amusement park, a sports center, even a hybrid farm. All of this contains the entire master plan of this estate. And the Boeing Mega City houses over 10,000 plots of land. There are residential, commercial, and industrial layouts within the Boeing Mega City, and it's not called the Mega City for nothing. Remember, the Boeing Mega City is just 5 minutes away from the international airport. It's located here at Igurutali. It's selling out so fast, and I tell you, development has already begun. So if
back from that quick commercial break, we will continue on securing a child's future through real estate, and then we'll be concluding on this topic. I just wanted to hit the nail on the head. I believe by now the viewer should be able to do that. The importance behind securing their children's name right now by telling them as a means of preventing the child from entering the streets, coming from the family. A family charity begins at home. Now it's no longer in the responsibility of the society or an individual out there. As a family, husband and wife with kids, the benefits behind investing in your child's future through real estate, so they won't end up in the streets.
First, let's look at a family, maybe two couples who just come together and probably give birth to a child. And at that point, the child, there's no business that you can actually set up for that child. There is no kind of business. You said, I set up this business for you so that when you grow, you can inherit this business. There is no business.
Even though you set it up, the child might grow up and
the only thing that you can do for that child to secure the future of that child, the foundation. You can decide to say, I acquire this landed property
can
for
imagine
this
the joy
child.
in his child's my
So
daddy gave me this.
and at the end of the day, probably I know of a man who started saving on the day of the wedding of the child. He handed over the document
Wow.
of 10 plots of land
Wow. That's a major gift.
to the child. You will see that at that point, there was no kind of business that he was able to establish for that child.
For that child, exactly.
It boils down to, look, you are going out. You are a
Exactly.
generation that is going away. You are a product of a generation that
Yeah.
is just fading out.
To the society, you may
Yes,
not be as useful as the
of course.
younger
The
generation
younger one is coming
with the
in,
energy
yes,
and
to
new
take your
business
position.
ideas and
Yes.
everything.
The business that you might be a captain, a business that you might be probably you're a professional in it. The coming generation might not see it. There are things that were happening before now where our forefathers, our fathers were doing,
Yeah.
but technology has come. Those things are no longer in vogue. So the new
Yeah.
generation came in with the different technology and they make it more better. But the only thing that you can achieve and secure for a child is a landed property because it has no expiring date.
I think for me, I subscribe more for landed properties than built houses. The reason why I said built houses, now look at this beautiful environment where we are. The house is so beautiful now. It's a modern day structure. But if you're really neat or you're giving it to your child, in 10 years to come, this will not be the modern day structure. The whole thing in this building
Of
might
course,
just be
yes, of course,
useless.
of course. Even in the society, no matter how gigantic a building is, the building is valueless.
It depreciates. But
Yes,
landed property
yes, the
shades
land.
is a
It
land.
is the land
That's
that,
one thing
yes,
people don't
because
really
even
know.
if some persons will come and said, "Oh, I want this land," but there is a building
On it
on
already.
it already. But it tells you there's nothing I want to do with the
It's
building
old
because I want to
fashioned.
erect my kind
Exactly.
of building.
I want to do something
Yes,
else.
it is the
Yeah.
land.
And the land is way cheaper than the
Yes, it
mansion.
is,
It's
of
500K,
course, the land
600K,
is important.
900K, 1 million. You can secure a landed property. You don't even have to say is in the outskirts of town. Do you know in 10 years to come, when your child turns 20, when your child turns 18, how the place is going to be? So I think investing in landed property, even outskirts of town, is not even a bad idea. Looking at the future, the long term future in landed property. Okay, so Mr. Jerry, it was an interesting session with you. I
Thank
really
you
enjoyed
so
myself, and I
much.
believe my viewers get the right information from this interview today with you. It was an interesting moment with you, like I said earlier, and I'll be looking forward to having this session with you again. But
Thank you
before
so
we go, I would
much.
like you to say your last word to our viewers out there, your advice to
Okay.
parents and all that. Thank you.
Okay, I just quickly want to say to viewers, stand by a child and fight for his or her right. Now,
Okay.
it's something that you also as a family, as a parent, have to do for your children. And first and foremost, secure a future for your children to in order to prevent them from running away from home, because once a
Okay.
child run away from home,
It's very hard to
it's
bring
very
them
hard
back.
to bring that child
Yeah,
back.
honestly,
Okay.
thank you so
The
much.
most important thing is save.
Prevention is better than
Prevention is
cure.
even if it's a landed, even
Land.
if it's a one plot of land,
Hand it over to the child.
hand it over to the child, and you will
Exactly.
never be.
You never regret it. That's just it. It's not something to even regret about. So thank you. Before you go, I would like you to share your social media handles so they can follow your page and see your content as someone that runs an
Okay.
NGO.
Well,
Yeah.
on Blaze, sorry, on Facebook it's Blaze TV 106, one word.
Okay.
On Twitter it's Blaze TV 8,
Okay.
and on Instagram is Blaze TV 106. On TikTok is Bliss TV 106.
Wow, I love the fact that you maintain a particular name
Yes,
all over the
yes.
social media. Thank you so much,
Thank
Miss
you. I
Ajay. It's my
appreciate it.
pleasure having you here. So, dear viewers, you've heard it from the horse's mouth. It runs an NGO that major on taking away a child away from the streets. Like you said, stand by a child and
Fight for his or
fight for
her
his rights. So, and today we use real estate as a major means of preventing a child from entering the streets. From what we've discussed so far, you can see that it is a necessity as a parent or parents for you to secure your child's future through real estate. It doesn't cost much. It's just an informed information you need. And that's why we're bringing this information to you out there so that you will know the importance of securing a plot of land, at least a plot of land for your child. Imagine giving your child a plot of land when he's a minor or when she is a minor. By the time he turns 18 years, already handing over a property to your child. Or imagine when things are no longer working in the family and you're able to use this property to cater for your child's education. You can see it is very, very simple that your child won't end up in the streets or end up becoming something you don't want the child to become. So I want you to think about this and consider handing over properties to your child while you're still alive. Don't wait till you're gone. Do it now so that you see the joy on their faces by the time they receive the gift from you. So stay with us. I'll be doing this again in our next edition. I would like you to subscribe to our channel.